Hello folks, in this tutorial we're going to go back into the text animator and focus specifically on what the offset parameter can do. So I'm going to click here, go to animate again and set a position transform property. The range selector pops up and position has been added, but at the moment there has been no settings or adjustments made. They're both on 0. Let's open the range selector, and just as a little refresher, just to remind you, if I click and slide here, I'm adjusting the start of the range selector, and if I click and drag here, I'm adjusting the end of the range selector. So I've got an end point for where I'm deciding to select my text, and a start point. If you keep an eye down on the bottom left on the timeline, you can see the numerical values changing. So if I put the start here and the end here, it means that I've selected the entire text for animation. To use the offset though, what I'd like you to do is, folks, if you can, and probably just for this tutorial again as ever, leave your time marker on 0. Set the end point to 33%. If you click on the range selector here, you'll see what it's done. What we've now done is selected the range of text to be just this part here. We're not selecting all of the text, we're just selecting this, well, 33%, so these 4 letters here. I'm just going to slide it forward a little bit more, and whoops, that'll do. So I've got it, in fact, I've got it set to 29, but that'll be absolutely fine. What this means is it's just this portion that it'll animate. Now, we did do a brief nod of this in the last tutorial, but offset does something quite fancy. So put your time marker to 0, make sure your end is on 29, set a keyframe for offset, take your time marker to 2 seconds, and then scrub offset all the way through. Now if you can, ladies and gentlemen, have a look up on the monitor and watch what's happening to the start and end of the range selector. They're both sliding together, as you can see. So as it works its way from 0 to 2 seconds, the range selector will apply the animation on these 2 brackets. So it will focus on just this area only. So let's slide the offset all the way to 100. So as I now scrub through the timeline from 0 to 2, you can see what it's doing. It's going to animate along, but just this portion that we've selected. I'm going to go back to 0 and I'm going to set my position Y coordinate to about 80, just so as we can see the effect in a bit more detail. I'm going to click on range selector, and now when I slide through you can see what it does. It's still working its way from the beginning of the text to the end, but it's working on just the portion that we offset. So it's a lovely little effect. I'd recommend you give it a go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the next tutorial we look at actually adding more properties than just position. We'll start to maybe add a bit of scale, a bit of opacity, because you can have a number of animated properties on one layer at a time. At the moment we've just got one, which is position. In the next tutorial we'll look at adding a few more. Okay folks, hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next tutorial.